It's been a whirlwind year for crypto in the wake of FTX's collapse, but that's not stopping fund management companies like WisdomTree from diving into the space. Their year-end letter to stockholders notes that despite the challenging macro environment, the company has over $80 billion worth of assets under management globally and continues to expand into digital assets and blockchain-enabled finance. Joining us now to discuss is Will Peck. He's the head of digital assets at asset manager WisdomTree. Will, would love to hear your expectations for 2023, given all the crypto chaos we've been seeing to end off this year.
Hey, Christine. Hey, Lawrence. Thanks for having me. Yeah, we just actually published our 2023 macro outlook, and it seems like 2023 could be a tough year. Our forecast calls for recession, and pretty clearly, Bitcoin is a risk-on asset. So in a risk-off environment, I think it could be tough for crypto in terms of the near term, but certainly long term, we're seeing a lot of activity and progress in the space. We just put out a press release on a recent suite of blockchain-enabled funds that have gone effective with the SEC, which I think shows, it's really a good example of bringing real-world assets on chain, and I think it's showing a lot of the technical development that's happening behind the scenes here that us and a lot of our traditional asset management and bank firms are talking about. So we're quite bullish on the technology long term. I think 2023, in terms of asset prices could be challenging, but that's not stopping us from kind of continuing to innovate and to help our clients figure out how to invest here.
Now, I kind of want to ask you about this blockchain-enabled fund because you said it was SEC approved. The assets themselves are not necessarily crypto-related assets. They're just whatever assets they are, but you're using blockchain to do the bookkeeping on this. Why blockchain and not a database?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. That's exactly right, Lawrence. These are not providing exposure to crypto assets. There's no Bitcoin or Ether or anything like that behind them. It's providing exposure to things like U.S. Treasury bonds, right? And we're using blockchain as a record-keeping source. And I think about, this is an example of tokenization, I think you'd say. I think about the benefits for this in terms of three ways: transparency, liquidity, and standardization. Certainly, I think a lot of people saw Bitcoin as kind of this unique, asset to hold, gold-like asset. I think a lot of people looked at the development of Bitcoin 10 years ago and saw an asset, a settlement system, right, that works on a 24/7 basis that allows, near instant settlement on a peer-to-peer basis, which actually has pretty profound implications for market structure, right? I mean, today in the U.S. equities market, securities clear T+2, typically go through DTCC, right, a central clearing system, which is pretty common around the world. And I think we've seen lots of use cases where there's higher cost of capital for that. There's potentially some inefficiency. And investments, inherently feel a bit more disconnected from day-to-day finance because you've got to wait T+2 days to settle and, for a trade to happen. And I think blockchain, as first demonstrated by Bitcoin, in lots of ways we're seeing more and more now across different chains, has a lot of potential to improve upon that. So for WisdomTree, we saw that about 3 years ago. We've been working on this for quite a while, and we're kind of in beta with it right now with our WisdomTree Prime Wallet offering, which provides access to these. And 2023 is a big year for us on that front.
Well, it's interesting that you're going full in on blockchain technology, but also telling that these are not crypto assets. And so what are your thoughts on how crypto assets will go into the next year, and considering all this crypto contagion collapse happening right now in the industry? And WisdomTree has tried to get a Bitcoin spot ETF for years. Is that just dead in the water for the year ahead?
No, look, we still, especially in Europe, we have products that provide access to crypto. We're still believers in the asset class, right? I think certainly with Bitcoin and Ether, we believe these are assets that can merit, allocation in lots of clients' portfolio. Granted, you want to do it in a risk-appropriate way, right?
When do you think there might be a Bitcoin spot ETF in the United States?
I have no prediction on that. I was on with you all a couple months ago, and you pressed me on that quite a bit, and I didn't really have much of an update there. I don't think the recent news helps, but it's for someone like us, our whole business is not predicated on getting a Bitcoin spot ETF approved. So we're going to still try and work constructively with regulators to get one done. But we're not in a position like some of the other firms out there, like a Grayscale or someone else who's got a lot riding on this at the current moment in terms of their business.
Yeah.
And we're just going to continue to provide the right kind of structures and access where we can, and then work with regulators, because we think a Bitcoin ETF ultimately would be a good product for investors, but we're sensitive to the concerns, which I think, frankly, the last couple of months have shown.